Welcome again to my channel. My name is Debola-Adesanya. Today I want us to look at home grooming, home training. I'm sure you've heard at different times people say that boy does not have home training, that girl does not have, she lacks manners, you are not well brought up, and you allow people send messages to your parents that they didn't do well. And sometimes these parents have tried, and some other times there were no parents to raise a particular person, and the person didn't see models that could help him or her be a better person. So we're talking about is a conversation that we need to have. Home training, basically home essentials, that things you should live ordinarily, live home with. Many of us have left home already. You're married, you're building your own home, you're training your children, and very soon some of them will be leaving home. So we all need it. You didn't leave home with some of these things, but you can pick it up like you're seeing it now. You can add it to the things you need to run your life with. So let's start it basic. How do you there are certain things you expect every individual to have. Like I said earlier, home essentials, things that you're supposed to have been trained up with. Training has to do with, like the scripture says, training up a child. That means you can train down someone, you can train down a person. So train up a child. There is a direction that training ought to go, and that direction is up, positive. You can train down a child, negative. So you need to be checking those words. The use of words are intentional, and the use of those words are key. The essence of what we're talking about today. It's all about bringing up to a particular standard where you become an influence that is positive in the society. Now, let us note certain things. No matter how strong the gene of your parents are, the gene of my parents are, we all still develop personal traits which distinct us from one another. That thing that you do that makes you different from me, unique from me. The direction and definition of your personality is what makes you different from me, and that's what makes each one of us unique. One of the purposes of family is to make nobility out of your personality. Yes, nobility, noble. That's distinction. That's beautiful personality out of you, so as to make you positively fit into others when you go out there, to complement others, to be distinct positively, to be an influence in the society at large, a positive influence. By the time you go out there, you begin to have issues with people, and I mean as a result of not being what you ought to be. You begin to have a clash, a friction, and it ought not to be, because this person has been raised positively. Let's put it that way. You on your own side, you're not doing well, you're not where you ought to be. There will always be friction, no matter how good those people are, because there will always be an issue. You do things this way, you're supposed to do it this way. There will always be, those issues will always come up. So it's important that we do all we can to raise up our children prayerfully, with commitment, trusting that God will help them to turn out the way they ought to turn out. It is also from home that moderation is learned. Yeah, moderation. A lot of people, there are people who know how to talk well. Orators talk well. But do you know that you can talk too much? Yeah, you can talk too much. So it's from home, while you're growing up, that the things start showing. So it is expected that your parents, your guardian, help you to put that ability to talk in moderation. You shouldn't be talking too much. You talk so much that you begin to nauseate people. You begin to make people feel, I can't stand this person. And it's wrong for you to say you can't stand people, no matter how bad. As bad as you are, you're not the best. God is still standing in you. So it's very important. So we teach moderation from home as a guardian. You take it seriously. You see that a particular person, it's good to always get some good sleep, take a nap, but there are people who can sleep so much it's becoming a problem. They begin to lose money. Yeah, because they're supposed to be at the place of work at a particular time, place of their business at a particular time, and they are so lazy getting up on time because they sleep too much. So, and those things, see, one thing we are not, a lot of people do not know is certain things don't jump at you. What I'm doing today is not just jumping at me. Okay, I wake up, I want to start doing this thing. No, there are things that over and over again I've learned. Some of the things are from my experiences, some of the things are from training, others have trained me, some of are from my life, from my interaction with people, the beautiful things I see people do. I like, wow, this is a good thing, and I bring it to heart, to my notes. Some of these things are bad things I see people do. I'm like, how can somebody behave this way? And it's something that I say, okay, it's important we correct it, you know, for myself, ensure that I'm not doing it, correct it in other people through mediums like this. So it's very key. It doesn't nothing just jumps at you. It's something that over and over again people do, and it becomes part of their lives. Every child needs guidance, training. That's why I said you don't just leave a child. Somebody has to guide that child, guide and guard, safety, nurture. Somebody has to give that child some kind of, okay, this is your home, this is the place where you're welcome, where you should be at ease, where you should find love, where you should find understanding, empathy, compassion, training, scolding, spanking when necessary. Yeah, it's very key. The home is also supposed to make us who we ought to be, while school, please note that word, who we ought to be. Who we ought to be. The home is that place where we are helped to become who we ought to be. Now, the school, the society, the home, the church, family, friends, every other person in form of education helps us to become what we ought to be. That's how it ought to be. Yeah. The home helps you to be who you want to be. That's who are you supposed to be? A godly person, someone that has integrity, someone that holds dignity in labor high. You know, you hold people high, you love people, you learn love from home and all that. That's who you ought to be. An awesome human being. You learn that from home. Now, the school, also the home, has, you know, the home plays some role. The church, the training places, training grounds, different institutions, helps us become what we ought to be. A doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, an evangelist, a prophet, a pastor. Yeah, sometimes mother, a father. So these are things that comes by reason of education, formal education. That the home is not going to, your mother cannot train you to be a lawyer now. What does she know about being a lawyer? Your father cannot train you to be a doctor. What does he know about being a doctor? And that's what you want to be. So you get it now. So it's very important. Home grooming is all about modeling. And that's one key that many of us we're not even looking at, we're not paying attention to this part. Modeling. You cannot be lying, obvious lies, always stealing. You don't keep to time, you don't keep to appointments. Your children get late to school, always late to church, always, and you're trying to tell them that it's bad to lie. It's not going to work. Yeah, you can't be saying A and going B. So what you're saying as a parent, as a guardian, as a teacher, what you say must tally with what you do. It's very key. What you say must tally. I'm looking for another word. What you say must be the same with what you do. And that's what home grooming is all about. Some children, it's going to take the grace of God and special effort from them to be who they ought to be, because many times the parents say A and they are going B. The guardian is saying A and is going B. So it's a major issue. Now, what do you teach from home? Basically, let's take a few points. I can't teach you everything here, but at least I give you 1 or 2 tips, and you go out there, do more research, check if this lady, I hope she's not lying, I hope she's not exaggerating, is she really saying the truth? You go all out, get more information, and check with the scriptures what I'm saying as possible as you can. Now, what do you teach from home? God consciousness. Yes. Now, that besides God there is no other. God of heaven is the only one. No other God, small g, can help. They will act, they would behave like they want to, they would promise to do this and that for you, to give, but it's not long lasting. Help your children know from home that only God is the true God, is a faithful God, how good he is, and let them know that he's a God of order, seasons and times. And let them know that he's not a God, he's not a magician, he's a miracle worker. And miracle can be instant and it can take process. Magic is instant. You don't really need any process. You don't need process. But God, he can do it instantly, and he can choose to do it systematically by reason of process. It's important. We can only be in tune with God through Christ. You train your children from home. Let them not leave home confused. The home is the place where you minister Christ to every child. Let them get born again from home. Yes, it's very key. Let them know Christ for who he is, for his will, what he has come to this earth to do. Let them understand that from home. Don't push them to the world. It's not the church that should teach your children about Christ. They know about Christ, about God from home. Then the church plays a complementing role. That is what the church ought to do. Let your children understand the fruits of the Spirit. Love, kindness, gentleness, self-control. All these things, 9 of them, it is from the home that we train and teach these children. It's very key. Now, self-awareness is also important. Paying good attention to their body, to their sexuality, who they are. You are a boy. God created you a boy. God has an intention for making you a boy. If God made you a girl, it means that everything that will happen to you in the course of your life will be in alignment with the fact that you are a girl. Yes, you let them know that from home. They don't get out and be confused. They don't get out and the media, social media, start telling them all sorts of things. They start getting confused. They are looking for, I think I'm supposed to be a boy when you are a girl. I think I'm supposed to be a girl when God made you a boy. That's a confusion. So you help them understand that from home is very, 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 very key. You don't just leave them to chance. You don't just leave them to the world. Oh, they'll sort themselves. Oh, they'll find themselves. No, you let them understand their sexuality, taking care of their bodies, not allowing everyone to have access to their bodies. Let them know that their body is their private property. Very, 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 very important. Self-love, loving themselves, appreciating the way they are, becoming self-conscious, not in a negative way, not becoming self-centered, not becoming it's all about them. Once they have eaten, every other person can go to hell. No, it's ought not to be. You train them from home to love themselves and love others. You don't also love others neglecting yourself. You train them to know that. Pay attention. See that you've worked enough today. Go take some rest. Let them understand that they need to rest from home. Many of our parents worked us all up, all through life. So it's becoming difficult for a lot of young people or even upward mobile people to get rest. You now start preaching it. It's now a sermon in church. It's now, people now do trainings. Meanwhile, if the home has done a good job, these other institutions should all just be giving us some little compliments here and there. Help your children to become people-oriented. Life is all about people, influence, all about relationship, being aware of others, loving others, doing unto others as they will want others to do to them. You learn that from home. Very, very key. Every man has a love bank. Love bank. It's what you have in it that you will give to yourself, use for yourself, and extend to others. Ensure that what is in their love bank is beautiful, wonderful things, awesome things. Things that are life-saving things is very key. So you see that parenting is a whole lot of work. You are involved, you're paying attention, you're noticing things, and the more you notice that this thing is wrong, you come on board to use every medium you can to attack those things and ensure that they become beautiful, wonderful things. Yes. Value for life is one of the things you teach children from home. Value life. Teach them that the lives of people matter. Their own life also matter. Teach them to know that nothing should make them take their lives. Taking your life is making you doomed for eternity. So you shouldn't consider, it shouldn't be part of your option. Let the children know from home. Ensure that you teach them what suicide is and what murder is from home. So they don't get to a point where they say, I think I'm just tired of this life, I want to die. No. Teach them in a way that do your best, do your bit. You have your own role to play and leave the rest to God. Ensure that you teach them to know that they can't take their lives. They have to keep, striving to be better persons. No matter what life gives to them, teach them how to be strong, strength, and model it. You're not shouting and crying over everything. You and your spouse, you're not fighting over everything. You fight over remote, you fight over toothpaste, you fight over food, you quarrel over everything, and they see it. No. Help these children to go appropriately. Teach children from home to value money. Home grooming, you're talking about home training, home grooming. They must value money. Savings, how to make money, dignity in labor is very important. You don't say because someone is a truck pusher, then they are bad people or they are useless or very, very bad life. No. That person may need to do that thing at that time to make money, to make a living, to have an income, to get wages. And let them know the more they put into life, the more they put into developing themselves, the better they become. I told my daughter yesterday, I said, see, somebody is offering to take you abroad to go study, or your parents have money to send you abroad to go study. You're not just going to meet yourself in the abroad. I'm going abroad, I'm traveling out. You must read, study well. Honestly, study well, meet the requirements, then you will be qualified. You don't just sleep. My uncle will help me. My uncle will press button. There are some places you can't press button. You can't. There's no button to even press. So you must do that extra work on yourself, extra study. I had to tell her yesterday, and I saw that it helped. Who does not want to go and study abroad? So it's very important. Compassion and empathy for others, they must learn it from home. I have one beautiful daughter, my friend's daughter. You are sick, oh? Mommy, Alpha, when are we eating? She sees that you're in bed, covered up, sweating, shaking, And the brother will always say, can't you see mommy is not feeling well? Okay, sorry, but we are going to eat now. She's always concerned about her tummy. Fine, it's a good thing to be concerned about your tummy, but we must help that child to balance it. Empathy. You see that somebody is hurting, somebody is sick, you don't just behave anyhow. Oh, how can I help? I know your need is there, but also look out for the other person. Ask yourself, what if I'm in this person's shoes? Be someone others can count on. We teach them from home. Home grooming, home training, manners, table manners, how to eat, how to behave with food. You don't just eat anyhow. Everything you want to eat round the clock. You discipline children. I know you have all the money to give them everything they want, but help them to do things in moderation. It will backfire if you don't. Yes, it will backfire. I saw a woman some time ago at the bus. I was trying to pick a bus, and she was correcting the son. And I could see the frustration on her face. But the truth is, many times I care less about those things. Because you are in a bus and everybody is helping you to train that child right there in that bus. Something is wrong. You didn't do your due diligence from home. Yes, there's a way you deal with a child. There's a way, and it's not all about spanking, beating. No, such that you begin to abuse the child. It's not about that. There's a way you discover models. You discover ways. You depend on God to help you. You tell them certain things and they get the message. At a particular age, when it gets to another some level, it may be difficult, or you lose them completely. Teach them how to eat, how to use cutlery, how to use the fork, how to use the knife, how to hold the cup. The cup has an handle. Don't take it from the tip, from the rim. There's a way you teach these children from home. You see children just behave anyhow, talk anyhow, walk anyhow. Help girls to know how to carry themselves gracefully, that they are not sexual objects. Help the boys. You keep telling girls to keep their virginity. How about the guys? Can a girl disvirgin herself? Can she sleep with herself? I'm not talking about masturbating. Leave that level now. But when it comes to actual sex, it takes a boy or a man to sleep with a woman. So don't just say, hey, keep yourselves. Tell the guys, don't mess up with girls. Wait till you're married. You teach all these things from home. To respect women, to hold women high. Teach your girls to respect men, to value manhood, to value the fact that there's a man in the house. My brother is a man. He's different from me. Okay, it's raining. I want to go off the generator. Ideally, I could off it, but it's raining. The boy should think, I should protect my sister. Let me go off the generator because it's raining. She should be able to off it ordinarily. And she may not be able to off it, depending on the kind of generator it is, or put it on. Teach them to know that there's a way we are wired and we should respect one another. Teamwork must be learned from home. Family spirit. We train our children. When there is an issue with you and anyone outside, you fight for your sister. Fight for your cousins. Fight for your nephews. You are a team. Work as a team. Then when you get home or when you are alone, you scold the person. Babes, you didn't do well that time. My brother, what you said that time was wrong. If there is need, you go together to apologize to the person you have offended. But ensure that you protect them. I'm not saying you should take side with wrong things, but protect that person as a family. Team spirit is very key. If you're not getting support from any other place, a child should get support from home. It's very key. Nobody's supporting you. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody is giving you everything you need. Nobody is buying your CD. Nobody is celebrating your single. Nobody is advertising your product on their timeline, on their status. Your family members should. Ordinarily, your son sells stuff. Help him advertise it. Is very key. Contentment and moderation. I mentioned moderation earlier. Contentment, you learn it from home. Mommy, this milk is not enough. Manage it. That's what I have for now. Use it that way. And sometimes you could give them more, but it's not always you give them more. It doesn't taste well in my mouth. Manage it joyfully. Because they will go to places, or there will be times even in the home where that thing will need to be used that way. Learn these things. Train children to know these things. Property management. You teach them from home. How do you take care of the furniture, appliances, electrical appliances? You don't play with fire. You don't play with electrical appliances. You don't just do things anyhow. You don't use clothes and just use them anyhow. I tell our children, the laundry basket is not just for you to dump clothes there. Once you pull your clothes, you fold it well and put it in the laundry basket. You don't pull everything such that before you know it starts smelling. You are not able to wash the clothes for a week. The house shouldn't be smelling. Yeah. You learn all those things from home. Take care of the TV, the remote. You don't throw things anyhow. Properties are supposed to be managed in a certain way. Train children to know that. Like I said, I can't tell you everything, but these basics, very key. To love one another, to honor people, to respect people is very key. So train up a child. You can train down a child. Train up a child in the way that that child should go. And when he grows up, he will not depart from it. I trust God to help you and I to be better persons, to continue to train up ourselves also. Because that is the model that these children will see, aside what you tell them by word of mouth. They see these things. I hope to come your way again and bring you more tips. Please pay attention to these things and let's use them. Let's be doers of these things. And I trust God to help us all to get better and better and better as our lives go by. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, share this video, tell as many people as possible about it, and be the doer of the word. Thank you. Bye-bye.